welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something kind of wild. It's called metacognitive prompt engineering.
Metacognitive prompt engineering.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but honestly, it's one of those things. Once you get it, it's like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. This is the future.
Right.
And to help us, get a grip on all of this, we've got some insights from two AI specialists, Metta and Metta. And just to be clear, they're not related. We checked.
No relation.
But they both have some really interesting takes on this whole world of metacognitive prompting.
And these aren't just, pie in the sky ideas.
Right.
This is like actually happening.
Yeah.
It's changing how we interact with AI.
So can you break it down for me? Like what in the world is metacognitive prompt engineering?
Okay, so imagine you're giving someone a recipe, right? That's like basic prompt engineering.
Okay.
You're saying, here are the steps, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Now, metacognitive prompting, that's like teaching someone to cook.
Oh, okay.
Like really understand flavors and techniques, the whole, whole 9 yards.
Instead of just like...
We're guiding the AI to think about the task,
Right.
Break it down.
Yeah.
And even evaluate, like, how confident am I in this answer?
Oh, my.
It's a whole other level.
So it's learning to like almost think for itself.
Exactly. And both Kick and Click use this phrase. They call it self-awareness and reflection in AI,
Whoa.
which is wild. The AI is becoming aware of its own strengths and weaknesses.
So you're telling me AI is about to have an existential crisis?
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, I don't know everything?
Well, not quite an existential crisis, but it's mirroring that human thing we do.
Right.
Where it's like, hold on, am I sure about this?
Yeah, like, did I leave the oven on? That kind of thing.
Exactly. It's that double checking, that reconsidering your approach.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? Like, give me a real world example of this in action.
Okay, so let's say you're using an AI to like write an important email.
Okay.
Right? Instead of it just spitting out whatever you told it to, it might pause and be like,
right,
hold on, let me analyze the tone here. Let me consider who this is going to. Is there anything here that could be misinterpreted?
It's like having like a little...
Like a built-in editor.
Yeah. Little AI Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder. Like, you sure you want to send that?
Exactly.
I need that.
You need that.
Oh, big time.
Because we've all sent those emails.
Oh, yeah. The ones you regret immediately. But this goes beyond just being right or wrong, right? It's like a whole other level of understanding what you actually mean.
Exactly. It's not just about understanding the words in the prompt. It's about understanding the meaning.
Right.
And the intent behind it.
The nuance.
The nuance, yes.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm starting to really get this.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this other thing that Kick and Kullik mentioned, hierarchical reasoning. What is that?
Okay, so think about how you tackle a really complex task.
Right.
You wouldn't try to do everything at once, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes I do, but then I usually regret it.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. So hierarchical reasoning is about teaching AI to do what we naturally do.
Oh, okay.
Which is break things down into smaller steps.
So it's like, instead of giving it a whole book to read,
right,
you're giving it a chapter.
Yeah.
And then you're giving it...
And then you're like, okay, now tell me about this paragraph.
Yes.
It's that step-by-step process.
Gotcha. So it's like we're teaching it to think more like, I don't know, like a detective or something.
Putting the clues together, that's pretty cool.
Exactly. And this is where the whole learning in machine learning really starts to get interesting.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
Because to get good at this, the AI needs feedback, right? It needs these feedback loops. So are we talking about like we give it feedback like, hey, you did a good job, or no, you messed that up?
That's part of it. But one of the coolest things about this is the AI actually starts giving feedback to itself.
What?
Yeah, it's wild. It's constantly evaluating its own performance.
So it's like it's got its own little report card going on.
Exactly. It's like, how did I do on that summary? Okay, I need to work on this part, but this part was great.
So it's like it's learning to be its own teacher.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yes. And that leads to another really important point that Click brought up, adaptability.
Okay, so how does adaptability play into all of this?
So think about like an AI research assistant, right?
Okay.
There are all kinds of research papers out there.
Oh, yeah. You've got your scientific papers, your historical analysis.
Exactly. And they all have their own language, their own structure.
Right.
With this kind of prompting, the AI can learn to adapt its approach based on what it's looking at.
So it's not just a one-trick pony.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that.
it can change its game plan depending on what's thrown at it.
So it's like it's got the recipe, but it also knows how to adjust the seasoning depending on what ingredients you're using.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, this is really cool, but I think a real-world example would really help me wrap my head around all of this.
Well, you're in luck because Metta actually provided a really cool example in their notes. It's a piece of YAML code that shows exactly how this works in practice.
All right, YAML code it is. I'll try to keep up.
Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds.
Okay, so YAML code, I'm more of a words person,
Uh-huh.
but I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so think of YAML like a blueprint.
Okay.
But instead of a house, we're building an AI research assistant.
Sorry.
And this code, this is like the instructions
Sorry.
for how to use this metacognitive prompting to make it really, really good at its job.
Okay, so walk me through it. What does this blueprint tell us?
So the first line, it's like the project goal, right? Summarize the key findings of this scientific paper.
Okay, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, just like you would tell a human.
Right, like, hey, can you read this and tell me what's up?
Exactly. But here's where the metacognitive part comes in.
Okay.
The next line says, before you begin, consider the following.
Ooh, okay.
So now we're not just giving it instructions, we're actually shaping how it thinks about the task.
So we're adding in some, like, critical thinking steps.
Yes.
Before we even get to the actual summary.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you look at the prompts, it says, what is the main hypothesis of this paper? What methods did they use? What were the key results?
So it's like, instead of just handing the AI a massive document, being like, good luck,
Right.
we're actually giving it the tools to break it down,
Yeah.
to understand it.
We're teaching it to analyze it strategically,
Okay.
just like that hierarchical reasoning.
Yeah. No, that makes, it's clicking. It's clicking.
And then it gets even cooler.
Okay, lay it on me.
The next prompt says, reflect on the implications of these findings for the field. So we're not just after like a basic summary here.
Yeah.
We want the AI to get the bigger picture.
So it's like, don't just tell me what they said. Tell me what it means.
Exactly. And notice how we're even saying like, provide a summary that includes these points, right?
Yeah.
We're shaping not just what it says, but how it says it.
Right. We want it to be concise. We don't want like
We want it to be clear.
pages and pages of AI jargon.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is already pretty impressive, but I'm assuming there's more, right?
Yeah.
What else is on this blueprint?
Okay, the last couple of prompts, this is where it gets really wild.
Okay.
Evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the paper. Suggest potential areas for future research.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We're talking about AI that can go from summarizing research
Yeah.
to like acting as a co-researcher, like brainstorming next steps.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It is really remarkable.
It's also, I'm not going to lie, a little tiny bit terrifying.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a powerful tool. But think about the possibilities. We're talking about AI that can, not only analyze this information, but come up with new ideas, maybe even write research papers one day.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
They're really exciting.
But let's go back to this code for a second,
Okay.
because there's something we haven't really touched on yet. How do we know this AI is going to get things right?
That's the million-dollar question.
Especially when we're asking it to, like, evaluate and make suggestions.
Right, and that's where the true power of this metacognitive prompting really comes in.
Okay.
Remember those feedback loops. So with metacognitive prompting, we can actually program the AI to tell us how confident it is in its own answers.
Okay.
It's like, it's saying, I'm pretty sure about this part, or I'm still double checking that part over there.
So it's not just giving us the answer, it's giving us, like, a confidence rating.
Exactly. It's like, it's showing its work.
You like that.
So we can be like, okay, let's dig a little deeper here. I see you're not so sure about this part.
It becomes more of a conversation.
Exactly. It's a collaborative.
Instead of just, like, blindly trusting the AI.
Exactly. And the more feedback it gets from us and from itself, the better that confidence level is going to get.
Right. So it's constantly learning, constantly refining.
Constantly improving.
Okay, so we're basically setting the stage for AI to become like a much more active participant in its own learning process.
Yes. And that's what makes this so exciting, right?
It is. It's a little mind-blowing when you really think about it.
It is. We're not just automating tasks anymore. We're exploring what intelligence really means.
All right, so we've talked about the possibilities, which seem pretty much endless, but what do you think? What are we going to see from this technology, say, 5-10 years down the line?
Oh, man. Predictions are always tough, but
Sure.
But I think, if we just look at the trajectory, we're talking about AI that can, Not just summarize a research paper, but maybe design experiments?
Wow.
Maybe even write the whole paper one day.
Okay, now you're just messing with me.
I mean, who knows, right? That's the exciting part.
That is true.
We don't know where this is going to go, but it's definitely going to be interesting.
It is. It's a brave new world out there. Well, on that note, we'll have to leave it there for today. But this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of metacognitive prompt engineering. So thank you for walking us through all of this.
Of course, happy to be here.
And for everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What would you want an AI assistant with these kinds of abilities to do? Head over to our website, leave us a comment, let us know your thoughts. Until next time, keep on diving deep into those big ideas.